Welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV, the live TV show all about the legal aspects of your business to help educate you on complex legal terms in an easy to understand manner, to help understand why you need to do certain things in your business from a legal point of view, and to help you develop a plan for the future. Our mission at Business Legal Lifecycle is to help empower all small to medium-sized businesses around the world to get access to legal advice so that they can help build their communities and make the world a better place. Did you know that any business owner is on average 7 months away from losing everything? That is the average time it takes from a successful business to fold when an aspect of their business is not set up correctly. Have you ever wanted to get legal advice but didn't understand what was going on? Do you feel like there is a divide between lawyers and their clients? Then this TV show is for you. It is all about empowering you and your business with the knowledge and tools to ensure that this doesn't happen to you. Business Legal Lifecycle TV delivers a twice-weekly show focusing on the legal aspects of your business. At lunchtime on Mondays, we present Fast Fix Monday, a quick 5 to 10 minute show that will give you some actionable steps to consider for the week for your business. And at lunchtime on Wednesdays, we present our in-depth show of between 30 minutes and an hour, where we go through complicated legal aspects of your business in a simple to understand, plain English manner. And whether that is through educational pieces or interviews with experts in their fields.
Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV. Today is Monday, so we're doing Fast Fix Monday, which is the show that we do every Monday, where we go through a particular topic. Usually it's a top sort of 7 mistakes or things to consider, and today is no exception. We're going through 7 considerations before you enter into a lease. As always, Jeremy Stretton is also here. Say hello to everyone, Jeremy.
Hi everyone, hope you're having a great day.
As I said, we're talking about leasing today. So when you're starting up a business and you're entering into a lease, you're moving into a new premises. It's a lot of important things to think about before you sign off on it. So we've come up with our top 7 considerations. So Jeremy, do you want to kick off with the first consideration that you should have before you enter into a lease?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Craig. So the first one is not to rush. This might seem obvious, but it's something that a lot of people don't think about, and they get all excited about going to enter into a lease for a property or enter into the transaction, and they rush into it without really thinking about what the right things are for them and for their business. And really, the next 6 considerations and how important they are. So the first one is don't rush before you enter into a lease. Craig, number 2.
Number 2 is read the fine print. So with anything, there's always some fine print somewhere in a document. Make sure you read it and get the advice about it. As I said, it's a very important and a large decision entering into a lease. You're sort of stuck with there for 5 or 3 years. So you want to make sure you're aware of everything, including the fine print. So make sure you read it and understand it. Number 3, Jeremy.
Number 3, thanks Craig, is get everything in writing. Now this might seem obvious, but it's actually something that a lot of people miss. And these days it's becoming more and more important. So what we're talking about here is obviously your lease is going to be in writing. Well, most of the time it's going to be in writing. And if it's not, make sure it is. But here we're more talking about the representations and the things that the landlord says to you or the agent says to you to get you to enter into the lease. So, you want to get those in writing so that if that's something that you've relied upon to enter the lease and it doesn't turn out to be true, that you have some sort of action against the landlord or some sort of rights. If you don't have it in writing, it becomes a he said, or he said, she said, or a she said argument, and that can end up causing a lot of problems. So put everything in writing. If you can't get it in writing, then make a note of the conversation or the promise. Because more and more people who haven't got things in writing are going into disputes in court. They have their view, which is backed up by a contemporaneous note, so like just a file note of a conversation, and that will help your side if you have any argument. You're not entering into these things to have arguments, but you've got to protect yourself just in case you need to have them. Craig, number 4.
Number 4 is about looking at the actual premises that you're interested in. So make sure you go along, check it out at as many times as you can, as much as the agent will let you. Make sure you check it out at different times of the day or night, depending on what business you're in. Just so you're aware that nothing's happening during particular times of the day or whatever it might be. just go there, check it out, sit there, make sure you're happy with the premises, because as I said, you're going to be stuck there for 5 years. So make sure you have a look at the premises. And this fits into the next one that Jeremy's going to talk about, which is researching the property.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. So researching the property, number 5, really important. And this goes beyond just checking out the premises at different times of the day. This includes talking to other tenants in the premises, if there are some. Do a Google search. It's amazing how much information you can find about a property on Google. You can go onto different websites, can give you different information about the property. So research the property thoroughly. Talk to the tenant, talk to previous tenants. If it's been previously rented, find out why the tenant left. Was there a problem that you're not aware of? So make sure you do your thorough research in relation to the property. Lawyers can also do searches. Real estate agents can also do searches, but do searches relating to what there is in relation to the property. Are there easements? How are you going to access your premises? If it's part of a bigger premises, what kind of access rights do you have? You've got to find out all that information. It might seem simple, but it's really important to make sure that you do that for the property itself. Craig, do you want to do number 6?
Yeah, absolutely. So not only do you need to do the research of the property, as Jeremy just explained, you also should do your research of the actual landlord to see if there's any issues in the past with them. So talk to the agent. They won't give you all the information, but ask lots of questions of them. Do your research, search for the landlord, see if there's anything out there with disputes or anything like that. Make sure you're fully aware of who you're about to enter into an agreement with. So research the landlord. Last one, Jeremy, lucky last.
Lucky last is make sure you can afford it. And again, like with a lot of these, that might seem obvious, but it's something that a lot of people miss. In the excitement of getting into a lease, and this goes back to the first point, don't rush, often people don't think about whether or not they can actually afford to make the rent payments. So you've got to make sure that you've budgeted how you're going to get your money in and how you're going to be able to afford to pay your rent and any other money, so things like outgoings, things like that. So you need to make sure you can afford it. If you're not sure, if you're not an accountant, which we're not either, you need to go and probably get some accounting or even some financial planning advice to make sure that you can actually afford to pay the rent in good times and bad times. Make sure you look at it from a best scenario and worst scenario, because it's really important to make sure you can afford it. Because when you sign up for a lease, whether it be a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, you're liable to pay the rent for that period. So make sure that you can afford it. Craig, that's our top 7 considerations to think about before you enter a lease.
Absolutely. So thank you everyone for joining us. If you have any questions about leasing or any other things that we've been talking about in the last month about starting up a business, please let us know. We're happy to assist where we can. Or if you want to make comments on Facebook or Periscope, or wherever it is you might be listening or watching this episode of Business Legal Lifecycle TV. So we'll be back again on Wednesday for our longer form show, which is to be an interview with someone in the industry that's going to pass on a lot of valuable information. So we suggest you tune in then. But until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thanks everyone. See you next time.